Welcome to the Driver's Line. I'm Greg.
And I'm Jordan.
And today we're having a conversation about what we're thankful for.
And things that maybe we would be thankful for if they just went away.
Right.
Yeah.
In the whole automotive spectrum, we wanted to celebrate the things that we're thankful for today in the spirit of Thanksgiving, as well as talk about some things that we'd be really thankful for if the manufacturers decided to stop doing them.
Yeah, so we got some cars on this list. We got some automotive features and trends on this list, so it's going to be chock full of them.
Chock full of good stuff.
That's right. So starting off small, I figured there'd be a good feature to be thankful for. So something that kind of blends in the background, but we don't really think about it a lot, I think, is analog brakes. So, it's technology, and it's not something we think about.
Right.
But that helps us in so many ways in terms of safety, but also like on the track and performance. I know I don't want to be locking up in the mid corner.
No.
So I'm really thankful for the fact that we have ABS technology that can both make driving more engaging, but also safer. I think that's also a really important thing.
Absolutely, and it's such a good technology. It was something that was, kind of perfected within Formula One, believe it or not, and they outlawed it because it was too good.
Yeah.
They wanted to see the driver's skill in braking, and so that's why you'll see Formula One cars lock up, is because they don't have ABS, because it just makes it a little too easy for the drivers. But it's something that's fantastic for those of us who like to drive, spiritedly on the street, spiritedly on the track,
but
but responsibly. And if you have an oops moment out on a public road, right, or some situation happens where you have to have a panic stop, you know that your wheels are not going to lock and you're going to be able to do a safe stop. So it's a wonderful system, and we're absolutely thankful here at the Driver's Line that we've got it.
Absolutely.
So one other thing that we're thankful for is the Cadillac CT5V Blackwing.
There you go.
It is the last of a dying breed, and we're thankful that Cadillac still makes it. It is the only V8 supercharged manual sedan that you can buy today.
It's pretty incredible coming from Cadillac.
Yeah, from Cadillac of all people. A brand that people thought was stodgy as their grandparents' car for so many years, and Cadillac is the last one holding on to this candle.
They are the flag bearer of performance for America, honestly. And we're really thankful that they're sticking their neck out on the line and even bringing us a revised version of it in the latest CT5 refresh.
Exactly. So. And, still making the car, the CT4V Blackwing with the twin-turbo V6 as well, also coming with a manual transmission. So it is just, Cadillac, we see you and we thank you. Yeah. Own one.
There you go.
So just a wonderful, wonderful thing to still have within the marketplace.
Awesome. That's a great choice. Something else I'm thankful for in terms of the automotive market is a safety feature, and probably the only one that I would consider having. I don't have it on any of my current vehicles because they're all pretty old, but it's something that's not super intrusive, but I think plays a really important role, and that's rear cross traffic alert. So backing out of parking spots, both in terms of making sure that you're not hitting any behind you. But, everybody has an SUV now.
Yes.
So coming out of somebody who drives typically smaller vehicles, I definitely see the value in being able to back up and see cars coming in behind me that I wouldn't normally be able to see right next to me. And I think that's a really important feature. And it's not something that's super intrusive, which I think a lot of other safety features like lane keep assist can actually make the driving experience worse and less safe if you're not really aware of what the vehicle is capable of. So
yeah, no, that's a great call out. That is one. It's not that intrusive. It'll just kind of beep at you or flash something up on one of your screens to let you know that you're having someone coming behind you, right? And so it's a system that generally works pretty well. It's on my wife's car, and it's just nice and non-intrusive. But if you're not, paying attention, or if you have an obstacle that's blocking you from where you need to be looking, it tells you if someone's coming, which is very, very helpful. My next choice for something that I'm thankful for is the Ford Mustang. So, as most of you know, we just got the S650 generation of the Mustang. It is the last of another dying breed. I think I'm going on with a little bit of a theme here, at least with my first two choices, is, things that still exist that are the last of the dying breed. Yeah. So, Challenger, going away.
Yep.
Camaro, going away. So the Mustang is now the flag bearer for American muscle/pony performance, right? So it's the only one that remains. And Ford, did another great job of it. Yes, it's a largely revised S550, but it's looks a little bit like a Camaro, but it still exists. You can still get it with a raucous V8, the 5-liter Coyote V8. It's been revised. Gosh, what's it up to? Like now over 480 horsepower, I think, in the Dark Horse. Just lots of horsepower. Just a fun car. great transmission if you get the Dark Horse. not as great if you get the regular GT, but they still exist. Of course, they also came out with the GTT, which is
insane.
It's just an absolutely insane, basically race car that's going to be street legal, right? So I mean, it's just nuts that they make something like that they're still here for us in a performance standpoint.
Yeah, I love seeing that Ford is standing behind their products in terms of that Mustang, even though we saw, maybe there's some watering down in terms of the Mach-E, but they're not scared to add even more performance, more power, and just really bring up the Mustang game.
Right.
Because we saw, like, in the last couple of generations where the Mustang has really improved in terms of its handling and ride, and stepped away a little bit from that muscle car, entered more of the sports car arena.
Yep.
But they're still willing to give us that crazy power, which I love. So, props to them, because I know in this market that's got to be really tough, because we're seeing other automakers having to partner up in order to build their performance cars.
Exactly. You got
and
the
Ford's
Supra
doing it all by themselves.
Yeah, the Supra, BMW, and Toyota partnering up on that. The 86.
Yep.
Subaru and Toyota partnering up on that. So,
which, hey, if you got to do that, I get it.
Yeah, I mean, we're here for it, right? Like,
we're thankful for that.
For anything that is a fun, small performance car.
Exactly. Another feature that I've really become very appreciative for is something that I come in contact with every day, and that's the DSG transmission. So as we know, automatics are becoming basically the only option at this point for transmissions. So I really appreciate the fact that I have the opportunity to drive something in my commuter car that's coming from racing technology, right? And it's able to swap out gears real quick. If I'm in the mode to, do a spirited mountain run, I can shift it over into DSG mode, use my flappy paddles.
Use the flappy paddle gearbox.
And have some fun with it. And it's not just a typical slush box. So we're stepping up the performance game for general cars, and you see them in lots of cars. I mean, my mother-in-law's Hyundai Veloster has a DSG now,
that's nuts.
Which is crazy. I think that's a really cool feature that it's kind of been watered down to like the general public, and I think it's really great.
Yeah, DSGs are fantastic. Any dual clutch gearbox, huge improvement from those single clutch gearboxes that used to be out there, right? Like the original R8 came with a single clutch. The whole debacle Ford had, right, with the Focuses and I think the Fiestas that had the single clutch gearbox. They're jerky. They're inconsistent. Just not
slow to react.
Yeah, just slow to react. Not a great driving experience. And so the dual clutch has kind of meted out all of those problems and just like solved everything. Just it's lightning quick, which is why you see the new Corvette having it, right? Like, I mean, they knew the take rate when they sell Corvettes is hugely automatic. With the C7, it was like, I think like 26% manual, which is just sad. But it's their customer base, right? And they have to, attract their customer base. And so with the C8, they're like, hey, we can make something engaging that is also still an automatic. And so they came out with the dual clutch. And for my last thing that I'm thankful for, going right off of what we were just talking about, is the C8 Corvette.
I mean, it's been featured on this podcast before.
I know, we've been featuring it on the podcast. I've got my Corvette shirt on right now. And it is just something that I'm completely thankful for, because if you think about it, who would have believed it if you had told them that I'm going to give you a mid-engine V8 dual clutch for like 60 grand?
Yeah, it's crazy.
495 horsepower with the performance exhaust. People would not have believed you.
No one's doing that in the market.
No.
I mean,
these are stats that go with a Ferrari.
Yeah.
Go with a Lamborghini. Go with any exotic brand, and you can buy it at $60,000 at your Chevy dealer.
Yeah. So I mean, and previously, like, Corvette was flirting with that supercar territory, and now they are just right on into it and embarrassing folks who are triple, quadruple the cost.
Yeah.
So, like, props to the GM engineers up there, because they know what they're doing, and they should be earning lots of respect for their abilities, because that car's fantastic.
Yes, absolutely, just a world beater. The Z06, I think, went like 4th fastest in the Car and Driver Lightning Lap.
Crazy.
I mean, the Senna's the fastest. That just gives you an idea of where it is, where it just lands within the spectrum of performance cars, and it's just outstanding. The fact that we have something like that, which you can buy, I think the base price is now $68,000, so they're kind of getting wise to the price, but I mean, you can still buy a 1LT for $68,000.
And we're just starting. This is their first attempt.
Yeah, their first attempt at it.
I mean, that's
they're going to revise it
on your first attempt. Yeah. And we don't even have the full Corvette lineup fleshed out yet.
No, there's something else coming that starts with a Z and ends with a 1.
And it's been testing on a Nürburgring. I've been watching the footage, and it sounds awesome.
Sounds awesome. Most likely going to have that flat plane V8 with a couple of turbos attached to it.
Yeah. That doesn't hurt.
Nope, does not hurt at all. We'll be very thankful when that gets here.
Speaking of more things to be thankful for, sticking to small, but this is something very important for me, and that's heated seats. And I gotta say, as I'm getting older, heated seats are so important to me. But now they're basically standard equipment. I remember when they were luxury items.
Right, exactly, yeah. Standard equipment, unless you want a BMW, and then you have to pay for a subscription.
Yeah, your subscription, which is crazy. But yeah, I think heated seats are a really great feature that a lot of us just take for granted now. I mean, we're in the thing at all, but make your life a little bit more comfortable, and I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, no, great choice. Absolutely. There is literally nothing better on a cold winter's day than when you get into your car and you can hit that seat heater. It warms up 4 or 5 times faster than the heat does in the car.
Yeah.
So you've got this cold air blowing on you from your heat, desperately trying to warm up, but then you've got this heated seat just cocooning you in luxury.
And I think it's going to be even more important as we see a lot more electric vehicles come into play. I mean, the HVAC system is a big draw on a battery. So being able to have, direct heat contact in terms of the steering wheel and the seat, that's going to help us get some more range out of these electric cars, which is really good. So
good call, good call. We ready to talk about the flip side of it here?
Yeah.
Talk about things that we are, would be thankful for if they did not exist.
Just say bye-bye.
Say bye-bye.
Exactly.
That's what we would love to say bye-bye.
For sure. So some of these things.
I'm going to kick us off. Because one thing, and it kind of goes off of the whole Corvette discussion, is I would be really thankful if dealerships were no longer allowed to gouge their customers.
Amen.
Out of the back of COVID, when parts were constrained, logistics kind of fell apart, cars became scarce, right? But people still were flush with cash and wanted to buy, right? And so dealerships did what they do. They're very capitalistic, so I guess you can't fault them for that.
Yep.
But they put these prices out of reach for a lot of people on a lot of these cars. I mean, you were looking at things that were as boring as a Kia Telluride. You were paying like 60 grand for a Telluride. I mean, it's a Kia. Come on. The Telluride in and of itself is a fantastic family car. But it is not worth $60,000.
Yeah, it's a family car. I mean, we're pricing people out of the market.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, I mean, these are cars that people need. I mean, America is very dependent on transportation.
We do not have the infrastructure that Europe has. We don't have any of that going on. So people in the United States need cars to get to work. And this is something that was negatively impacting them. And then it, of course, fell on down to the used car market because those prices then rose. And it's just been a situation that we still really find ourselves in. It's only roughly now that we're starting to see some of these cars come down. You can finally get a C8 for MSRP.
Yeah.
And it's been out for now 4 years.
That's crazy. I mean, I'm still seeing Nissan Zs with a $40,000 market adjustment on them.
Yeah, someone put the Nismo. Did you see that?
Yes.
Someone put the Nismo. It was like $150,000.
What are we doing?
What are we doing exactly? Yeah,
nobody's buying that.
Nobody's buying that.
Come on.
It's just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of things that are absolutely ridiculous, and my poor friend Greg's going to have to deal with this one here. Piano black. Can we please just move on? I mean, okay, this is a trend that started over a decade ago. And I still don't see the fascination. It's probably more affordable for these car companies to put it in, I guess. And it does look flashy. Don't get me wrong.
It looks nice when it's
concept car,
new.
Looks great.
Yeah, it looks nice when it's new.
And Greg can attest because he has ATS. So.
Yeah, ATS-V, piano black everywhere, haptic buttons. Was not the strong suit of the car.
Right. We don't
not
buy
the
it
reason
for that.
we bought it.
We don't buy it for that. But let's try it. I mean, it is 2023 now, right? So we're starting to see some manufacturers definitely get away from that. I'm going to shout out Hyundai for that specifically because Hyundai and Kia loved some piano black.
Yes.
But they have done a great job of mixing up the materials in ways that look expensive, but are really affordable and durable, which is a really important thing too. So let's try to get some more creativity happening, and let's please, for the love of God, step away from the piano black.
Yeah, agreed wholeheartedly. It's nothing but, all it does is attract dust and fingerprints.
Yeah.
Again, looks great when it's new or when your car's been freshly detailed, but that is it. It's like a black car.
Yeah.
Black cars look phenomenal when they're clean.
Right.
Best looking cars out there. But it lasts for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's just, there are so many other materials that can be used. You can use brushed aluminum, you can use anything else. Literally anything else.
Literally anything else.
Piano black. Carbon fiber trim if you want to be something shiny.
Right.
Hides fingerprints because of the weave.
Right.
There are so many other choices that are way, way superior
Yeah.
to piano black.
Can we do piano white? I don't know. Can we just change it up, please?
All right, moving on. The next thing that I would be thankful if no longer existed or was significantly improved
Okay.
is adaptive cruise control.
Oh boy, yes.
I hate adaptive cruise control.
He really does.
It is something that I've had in multiple rental cars. We have it in my wife's Audi, and it is the most frustrating system to deal with because the Audi thinks it's so smart. It has speed limit recognition.
Okay.
And so it'll tell you what the speed limit is. It'll flash up on the screen.
Right.
And so if you're cruising along in a 70 mile an hour zone, say you've got your cruise set at 75, and the speed limit drops to 65, the Audi will apply the brakes.
Oh gosh, that's awful.
And it's also like a safety consideration. It won't even just like flash a warning at you saying, hey, the speed limit has changed. You might want to consider adjusting your speed.
Right.
No, brakes.
Full on.
Full on.
Jeez,
and it's just not
crazy.
even comfortable.
No, yeah.
It's just a horrible, horrible feature. And, you know, the other thing that just annoys me more than anything about the adaptive cruise control is you can be trucking along and you start to approach a car and the thing just so gradually slows down you don't even notice it. Then you start getting passed by all these people you'd passed recently and you're like, what's going on? And then you finally realize what happened.
Well, I guess it's trying to be safe.
Yeah, it's trying to be safe.
But
it's just
totally
very
feel that.
frustrating. Yeah.
And yeah, so I can definitely see that. And when you're not, yeah, you think you're doing the correct speed that you want to do.
Right.
And it just like completely takes over.
It does.
I don't like something that completely does that.
Yeah, and it makes me not want to use it, which I
Right.
think defeats the
Yeah.
purpose of the system, right?
Yeah.
You want a system that...
It's not defeatable.
Right.
That's the only option you got.
Yeah, it's the only cruise control option. It's either
Right.
no cruise control or adaptive.
Bummer.
Bummer.
I can understand why you'd be upset about that. I'm sorry about you and your Audi, man. All right, well, jumping on the safety feature bandwagon, something that I equally detest would be lane keep assist. Now, I will say there are some manufacturers that are better than this at others. I'm going to go ahead and shout out the system in the Chevy Trax was actually pretty good.
Oh, yeah?
That I used. But, man, some of these systems are so jarring.
So bad.
Like the ones in the Hyundais or the
Hyundais,
Toyotas too.
Well, the Hyundai was so bad. I had a rental Hyundai at one point.
Gosh.
And I was like, oh, I got to try this because it was new at the time, right? And so I turned it on. And it started ping-ponging between the lines in the lane. I'm like, this is disconcerting.
It makes you seasick.
Yeah, it makes you seasick. And I understand, like, the point of it is not to be self-driving, right? It's really not to be doing that. It's to try to keep you in your lane, but it has to do a better job than that.
Yeah. I mean, I think for the general public those of us who love to be on our cell phones while we're driving, which obviously don't do that. Please don't do that.
Yes.
Please stop doing that. Let's put that on our list.
I know,
I mean,
we didn't have that on our list, but we're putting it on now.
Yeah, really.
Cell phone use while driving.
I could see why that would be, a beneficial safety feature. But the systems become so powerful. It's almost like when you're trying to get back in your lane, it's still acting against you.
Right.
And when you're traveling at a fair rate of speed and you don't have control of your vehicle like that, that is pretty concerning. So let's try to work on that and get that, because that's not going away.
No.
Let's be real about that. I'm sure that we'll see a mandate for that in the future.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's going to be something that's federally mandated, and we're all just going to have to deal with it. But hopefully by then, it's much more
camera technology,
less intrusive feature on a vehicle. So the last thing that I have on my list, there's actually more things than this on the list, but this is the last one I'm going to talk about today, is I would be so thankful if this trend of giant screens and a lack of physical buttons would cease on modern cars. Like the new Ford Mustang has this giant screen going from here to here that just has all of your information on it. Yeah, it gives you some neat stuff. It does, because you can put like the old Fox body.
Yes, we love the Fox body.
Speed limit, your gauge is on there. But it just other things are just kind of obnoxious, right? Like there are, in a lot of new cars, like you have to change the temperature using a screen. You have to change the radio using a screen. These are things that buttons and dials are perfect for.
Yeah, I mean, in the new midsize pickups from GM, you got to go into the screen and turn on the headlights.
Right.
Like who thought this was a good idea?
This is a good idea. And I might be wrong, so Tesla stands, please, sorry if I am, but I could have sworn on some Teslas you had to go into a menu to turn on the wipers.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So
these are things that are controlled best with a stock. We don't need to reinvent it.
No.
We don't need to reinvent the steering wheel with the yoke either, Tesla, so thank you at least for giving people the option to choose now.
Yeah, that's a good thing, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that. I think that's a great call out because, I mean, for me, coming from the Volkswagen family,
The Volkswagen,
you know, that Mark 8 is ruined for me because of that interior. I mean, not to mention the frowny face.
Well, it is a very frowny face.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, and the fact that some of these buttons aren't lit on that interior on that one, I mean, why are we green lighting this stuff, guys?
Exactly.
I mean, it's just not, and it's not user friendly. Knobs are great. Let's use the knobs. Okay, bring the knobs back.
That's gonna be your new thing. Save the knobs.
Save the knobs. Save the manual. Save the knobs.
Yes.
Go together.
All good, yeah.
And well, speaking of manuals, we're appreciative of manuals. Don't make those go away.
Yes.
But can we please, for the love of God,
For the
make
love of God.
the CVT transmission go away? I have yet to be in one that I actually enjoy using.
There isn't one that works. They're all terrible. The ones that Subaru makes with the fake gears, bad. The ones Nissan makes, terrible. There's not a good CVT. It has no reason being anywhere near a performance car. Subaru and your WRX.
That's insane to me.
Insane.
I can almost understand it in a little Econobox type situation, but I mean, come on, Subaru.
Also, guys, and this is just me talking to the manufacturers real quick. ZF makes a great automatic transmission. If you want an automatic transmission, call ZF.
Yeah, just drop it in.
It is so ridiculous because the ZF8 is the standard.
Yeah.
Fantastic transmission.
I agree.
For an automatic, for a actual, torque converter automatic, it's the best. Or you could even do it one better, dual clutch.
It's time.
Yeah.
Let's move on with that one.
Yes, it's time to go.
Yeah.
And with that said, it's also time for us to end.
That's right. It's time for us to go. So we hope you enjoyed our thankful list. We're thankful for you as well for tuning in and watching our channel. Please like and subscribe and share it.
Have a happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you next week.